This man needs no introduction. He is oftentimes given the, I don't know, I want to say the credit for where poker is today, which I think is fair. And he, you know, his nickname, his real name, Chris Moneymaker. He won the main event, kind of put poker on the map, and here we are. He's with Pokerstars. How many years later? Was it 2003? So
yeah, we're 15 years down the road, man.
Unbelievable. So Chris Moneymaker, we're here. He was just streaming on Twitch. We can show you guys what we got the setup here. We're at the PCA in Bahamas. He just had a final table in the Bounty Builder 162. So I want to. This is a segment we're gonna do, letting it flow. Just kind of, we have no scripted questions.
Well, where that name comes from,
right? You know, we got the little flow going out here. But this is a question that I've been getting asked, and I think it's interesting, especially someone, you've won the main event, you won $1 million plus. You've played some big buy-ins. What's the biggest buy-in you've ever played?
40K.
40K. So you played 40K, and here you are, right online. You know, playing a 162. I think you kind of come from the same train of thought as me. I love to play. I'll play a $10 rebuy on Stars all the way up to whatever. You know, today I busted a 25K. It's not, it sucks to bust the bigger buy-ins, but it's also like, to me, I approach the game same as cash games. If I play 1-2 with my dad or friends or whatever, or if I'm playing a high stakes cash game, I want to win. I want to play correctly. I want to play my best. I want to make the right decisions. So how do you feel? Like, do you mentally prepare differently? Is there a different, do you sometimes feel you take it more seriously at a different level? Or, I mean, obviously at the higher buy-in, I think everyone gets a little more excited, but like, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with the range of buy-ins?
I'll be honest, the range of buy-ins, I learned a long time ago. I had a person help me. It was one of my teachers slash friends, a guy by the name of Calvin Anderson. Okay. And basically, he told me, he was like one of the #1 ranked players online in the world, super really good player.
I know Cal well. He's a great guy.
Basically, he told me a long time ago that you just got to treat poker like a game. You know, you don't play for the money, you play because you like playing the game. Right. So that's what we did. We just play for the game. And honestly, I'm really good about, if I'm playing a $500 tournament, $300 tournament, or a 20K tournament, I'm going to play it pretty much the same way. I'm not going to prepare differently. The only exception to that rule, honestly, is the World Series of Poker main event. I always get wound up for that event. You know, it's obviously a...
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's a once in a year event, and it's one you want to, I guess, perform your best. I probably put a little bit too much pressure on myself going into that event. Right. But I mean, honestly, like, I could play any other event. Like the 10K down here I was playing, I didn't get all worked up about it. I mean, it's just another event I played. And even though it's a great event, I want to play it. You know, I'm not going to get myself hyped up over it like I would just the main event. And the main event's the only one I get hyped up about.
Yeah. Do you have any main event rituals? You know, you won this event, the marquee event in poker, everyone's dream that plays poker, and like, was there anything, how was, looking back, like, do you remember what it was like? Like, I'm sure you've talked about this a lot, but maybe not recently. What do you remember, like, leading up to the main? Did you have expectations? Because you won a satellite. That's also the other part of the story. He won a Pokerstars satellite with, I mean, I don't know if you remember the numbers, how many people.
I also tried to dump it too. Yeah, I won a satellite with a sit and go, and then I won the 615 was with 69 people. They were giving away 3 seats, and I tried to dump and get 4th place, which was $8,000 in cash. Like, I didn't want the seat. And then when I got the seat, I tried to sell it, and they said I couldn't sell it. If I would have won the seat like 4 years later, 4 years later, if I would have won the seat, you could sell it, I wouldn't have played the main event. Because I needed the money to pay off bills and whatnot. I was just working a job and, whatever.
So it's an unbelievable story.
So things had to happen like absolutely perfectly.
Well, your name is Moneymaker. I mean,
it's kind of destined.
But it felt like it's just right.
Yeah, so honestly, I went to my dad and got $2,000. I went to another buddy and got $2,000. So I had $4,000 in sort of a stake. Okay. But essentially, I used that money to go out to Vegas to play in some live games, because back then there was no such thing as no limit live. Every game I'd ever played was a limit hold'em game. I'd never sat down at a physical poker table and played no limit hold'em before. That's never played a live tournament before.
So you get to the main event. How was because it's different. It's moved. It used to be, was it 10,000 chips then?
It was 10,000 chips at Binion's Horseshoe, which is, it's a rundown hole in the wall. Right. But it was crowded, and you're there with like all the pros. I mean, and granted, at the time I knew exactly 3 players. I knew Phil Hellmuth, Doyle Brunson, and Johnny Chan. Those are the only 3 players I knew that lived poker. At all.
And so you get some chips. Like, do you remember? Did you get off to a hot start? Did you get a double up? Were you short ever grinding, or did you kind of just take off on that?
Honestly, we started 10,000. End of the day was 60. I flopped 3 sets, doubled up on all 3.
Wow.
You know, poker was so much easier back then. You know, back then they had on the walls in poker rooms, certain poker rooms, they had a rule you couldn't check raise. It was against the rule to check raise. So people generally just bet their hands. So, you know, if you can't check raise, if you have something, you're always going to bet it. So my strategy going to the main event that year was essentially I'm going to play in position, and if people check to me, I'm going to bet no matter what happens. And that just worked. And then when you know, if I'm out of position, I'm going to check raise because no one was doing it really. So that was generally my strategy for like the first 3 days.
And how many entrants was it, around 800 something?
839.
833 would have been my guess, but that's I just remember that 800 range because that was a big jump.
If you forget, just watch Lucky You. They stole my story and didn't give me any money for it.
Oh man, that's messed up.
That's all right.
So then you get the main event. I remember the hand with Ivy, ace queen to 9s. I think he had a set and you had 2 pair and river to boat or something along those lines.
Yeah, the flop came queen queen 6. I bet.
Okay.
He called with 9s. Jason Lester actually folded 10s right next to him, and then he hit the 9 on the turn. We get it in. He had 400,000 at that point. I bet 75,000 on the turn. He had 475. Bet 200 on the turn. He moved all in for 200 more. And I had a little bit over $1 million at that point.
Okay,
so I mean, if he wins that hand, I have $1 million, and he has $1 million left.
Right, and then you got to deal with the Ivy at the end.
Yeah, but Ivy wasn't Ivy back then to me. He was just some.
You mentioned the players that you knew.
He was some kid. Yeah, well, he wasn't even a whiz kid to me. I mean, he was just some kid with chips. I mean, you know, honestly, like Danny Harrington was on my starting table the first day, and and he actually got 3rd in this tournament. He was sitting 2 to my right when the day started, and everybody kept saying, "Nice hand, champ. Nice hand, champ." Dude, I was embarrassed. I had to get up and go walk to the wall and see his picture on the wall that he was a World Series champion. I had no idea. Wow. So I stayed out of his way the rest of the time.
What was it like when you went home after winning the main event? What was did you come back? Was it like people? I mean, obviously your friends and family. It was pretty insane. But was there like papers and it was like people? I mean, everywhere you went, was it like?
Oh, it was asinine. Yeah. I mean, first of all, when you got done, we got done about I want to say like 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
So I literally turned lit up basically. You know, we went to the strip club, took all my friends, all the dealers. I took $10,000 in cash with me. We got to the strip club. Didn't have enough money. They wouldn't let us leave. I was completely obliterated, hammered. So I had to call Huck Seed, who I have no idea who he is, but I randomly got Huck Seed's number, so I had to call him up out of nowhere. This is, you know, Huck Seed has no idea who I am. I have no idea who Huck Seed is. And I said, Huck Seed, I know you don't know me. I need to borrow 15 grand. I just won the World Series and I'm at a strip club and I'm broke.
And
he brought me 15 grand
awesome.
Down to the strip club. So
memorable night though. I mean, that's just one you won't forget, right?
I kind of forgot.
You forgot a little.
I know a lot what happened, but yeah, I did forget some. Got home the next morning and we had a big party at the restaurant where I worked at, where everybody showed up. That was a Sunday. Then Monday morning, 8 o'clock, I was back at work.
You were back. Wow, you were just back at work after that.
Yeah, it's funny. The boss walked in, looked at me, he's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
Yeah, right.
I mean, dude, I told you I was gonna come back to work. So.
Wow. Yep. And so then you've been with Stars ever since, and you've traveled all over.
Well, I went back to work for 8 months. Finally, quit my job when I got second. And the next tournament I played at WPT, and you know, I figured I had this game figured out. So I'm gonna go work with Pokerstars and be a team pro and. Had a great run since. You know, it's been 14 years. I haven't had the tournament success since then, but you know, everything else has been fantastic. You know, as you know, Pokerstars is a great partner to work with. They're really good about sort of letting you use your creative juices to do what you want to do, and they're really supportive. If you have an idea, you bring it to them, and unless it just sucks, then they'll support it.
No, for sure, it's true. Especially with Twitch now, they're coming to them and say, I want to do this or that. They've done some really cool projects, and it seems like they're just getting more into that. So, how have you felt about Twitch? What do you think about it? You do a little bit?
Yeah, I respect Twitch. I mean, it's hard, man. You know, I tried to do it. I've done it. Actually, I just got off doing it, obviously. But it's hard. It's a lot of work to sit there and analyze the hands, talk to people, engage with people, try to teach people, but also try to follow along and make good decisions.
Right.
I mean, you know, people get on Twitch streamers sometimes because maybe they aren't playing the best poker, but honestly, it's really hard to follow the game, answer the. I mean, you know, you have so much going on.
Right.
I mean, it's a really difficult thing, and while the time does usually fly when you're doing it, it's work. I mean, I tell my wife when I'm streaming, you know, you just can't bother me.
Right. Yeah. Other than I need some food, I can barely go to the bathroom. That's about all you can do.
Yeah,
and
you
then
get
wanna
your
try to
breaks.
eat. It's some 10, 12, 14-hour stream days. It's tough because it's like you're literally like you have 5 minutes. You gotta go to the bathroom. You gotta scarf down the food. Maybe brush your teeth. Hopefully, so you back on camera. And then it's just madness because it's like some guy's asking you about a hand. Yeah, no, it is. It's a whole deal. And you know how when you do the one table. And I know Somerville, you know, I think that's actually the best way to do Twitch. Really is like one table because you play your best, you're focused, and you really are catching all the chat. But like, it's just hard. Like if you're, you know, on a Sunday million, Sunday warm up, Sunday hot, the cold, the warm, the tall, the small, the tamale. They got every tournament.
It's impossible to pick one tournament and play all day.
Yeah, because especially when you try to build some stacks. Like what do? You play them Sunday million, one table, and then you get, you know, you knock out 4 hours later, and your day Sunday's gone.
Then you gotta start. First of all, you gotta start fresh on stream.
Right.
At least if you have 4 other tables going, if you bust that one, you can pull something else up your deep end. So the stream just doesn't go to shit.
That's an interesting idea. That might be the way to do it, is like have 4 tables but leave it on the Sunday million, and then like only in like a super interesting hand or hit a replay. But
that's exactly what, when I did stream, or I don't stream enough, but when I do, I usually had 3 tables going, and I just basically, the biggest buy-in or the one I'm deepest in, I always put on stream is that's the only table I'm going to talk about. But if I do have a really interesting hand or really interesting spot, or I see something, I'll throw it up on stream. But I have other things running. If I bust, at least I'm not starting fresh in a tournament, or I'm not late regging when I have 15 big blinds and trying to start from scratch.
So, I don't want to, this is a letting it flow segment. We do have, it's hard to pin people down. You're here, I want to try to get in a little, but I'm having a good time. I like the rapport. I remember, one other question I want to ask you, how is that? Tell me how it is being married, because I just got married last year. My wife's from Brazil. They're not really big on poker over there. It's kind of like, you know, it's becoming more about like family-wise. You know, it's just a little. How has that been, being married and playing poker as a professional? Now that you've been doing it for, you know, you've been married.
Well, after I won the main event, I got divorced because my ex-wife didn't agree with me traveling and doing it, and so it just didn't work out. But it probably was never meant to be. Anyways, when I got remarried, I was doing what I was doing, and it doesn't get any easier. I'll go ahead and tell you. I mean, the sponsorship does help. I mean, basically how we work things is the sponsorship money goes to her, pays, you know, what we need to pay, and you know, she has the security of that. And then I have my own account for poker and whatnot. To be honest, when she used to know what the swings were, it was bad. We would have some fights because if you lose and, you know, she's not in this lifestyle, or you won't, you know, in this game, you got to loan money. So when you loan out, you know, $5 grand to somebody and it's interest free, and like that just doesn't compute with people outside of poker. It's like, doesn't make sense. I will say, especially from a tournament poker standpoint, I play a mixture of cash and tournament, but it's just like, it's almost like, I don't feel anymore, I've been doing it a long time, the pressure of like a tournament busting or something, because I know that's like, you know, look at the statistics, like in a tournament you're going to cash, let's say 85, or you're not going to cash, you know, that would be good, that would be high. You're not going to cash, you know, 85. You're going to bust 85%. You're going to
bust a bunch, or whatever percent it is, it's high, right? It's more than 50. Like 50 would be,
it's like 85% of the time you're going to bust a tournament.
Or like, let's say you were like crushing the game or running, you know, like 80%.
But over the long haul variance, you're gonna bust 85% of the time. I mean,
exactly. If you're cashing 15%, but the reality is, like, it's never fun when you go home. You know, even now here, my wife's here. It's like, go home up the stairs, and when you bust, it's kind of like, because they don't know. Like, she doesn't care if you lost kings to ace queen. She doesn't care if you got cooler. Like, they don't, you know, they're like, oh, why'd you bust? So it's like, that to me, that's something I've had to work with. I think that people in relationships, married, engaged, girlfriends, you know, they really get, because they care, they want you to do well, they're worried about you, that you're doing the right things and playing well, but that can be a little bit of a frick, you know, because it's just not fun. I always, that's like, I dread, like, I don't mind, I just busted a tournament here, okay, but then they have to like go and like kind of relive it, and then like to hear a little, maybe they try like, oh, could you have done, and it's just like, it's just tough.
I had to educate my wife, I'll be honest. I had a funny story. I busted, there was a time back in like 05, 06 where I busted I think it was 6, maybe 7 tournaments in a row where I had pocket aces, got them all in pre-flop and lost.
Yeah.
It was just a bad run. I'm not a guy that's going to just commemorate bad beat or talk about bad beat. But with my wife, I'll go home and, you know, complain a little bit.
Yeah,
so, you know, about the 7th tournament, I'm bitching. You know, I'm so mad because I've lost with aces so many times. So she just looks me dead in the face. She goes, just stop playing them. I mean,
just take, you know,
just fold aces. I'm like, I never thought about it that way.
Right. It's interesting to get the other perspective. Like, same thing. So when they say stuff, you know, they're coming from a good place, but that can be a little bit of a tough, you know, because that adds a little extra stress. You know, it's like you have to basically bust twice. You're like busting, and then you have to like
explain
tell them and like have to hear about it and from someone who maybe doesn't have much of a poker background. But we're here, Chris Moneymaker, World Series of Poker champion, main event 2003. Hope you get a chance for it again. I would love to make, you know, even just a final table of the main event of the World Series main. I've had a sweat there once, and it was the atmosphere, the electricity.
Isn't it something?
It's just like one of those things. Every, you know, I wish every poker player could have that opportunity once in a lifetime to make that final table.
It is a life-changing.
It's you know, obviously 9 spots each year. They do the World Series Europe now, so you know, main event is maybe call it 18 a year.
They're going to be doing World Series China soon. I mean, they did it this year, but it's going to be bigger and bigger. More opportunity.
You were just there in China.
I was, yeah. Actually, I played the WSOP China. It was awesome. It's a really great place to be. I did WSOP Europe this year. Another great place to be.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, yeah, I love the expansion. I love playing with people from different nationalities and playing against just different people. Because when you go to, I mean, how you played in Brazil. Brazil poker is so much different than everywhere else. And China's miles different. China is like Brazil in 2005.
Right. So, yeah, they like the fire.
Yeah, it's 8x raises. It's insane.
Wow.
So yeah, it's just a little bit different form of poker. Obviously, they're going to improve quickly. And even I've been there the last 2 years. The first year I was there was just mind-blowingly bad. Right. So now they actually, I mean, they're just super aggressive, but you could see the growth in the game in just the year. So China's going to be a real big force to reckon with.
That's good. Obviously, it'd be great if they get involved. I mean, there's a lot of people over there, and it's their games.
Well, the 2 biggest markets right now growing are China and India.
Right.
I mean,
Brazil's got to be right up there too.
Well, Brazil's been growing now for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
The big thing with Brazil is that while they have the population, the disparity in wealth there is so extreme that it's the majority of the population can't afford to play poker on a professional level, where when you're dealing with China, the population is just going to be a little bit more fluent. You're going to have more players that are going to be able to play. India is probably going to be some of the same way. India, you know, obviously there's just the 2 biggest population centers. It's going to be really good for the game to see those markets grow and those countries grow and develop and continue to play.
For sure. All right, well, guys, again, we could talk forever. This man is a literally living legend, and check him out. Where can they? So on Twitch, it's
Twitch. It's Team Moneymaker.
Yeah.
On Twitter, it's C Moneymaker, and Instagram, I don't even know, to be honest.
You can find him. You can just type him in Google, check him out, track the action. He is always having fun.
Just follow him. I follow him.
We're always nearby. On events, you'll catch us. You know, we're flowing, we're doing things, letting it flow with Chris Moneymaker. We will see you guys soon. I hope you eny, and maybe we'll do a part 2 again. I feel like we could have kept talking, but you know, we want to keep it short and sweet.
We can go. Let's run forever. Peace, guys. Oh, we were supposed to do the.
Yeah, we had an awkward before, like that, you know how that goes. Like
we did a legit,
it was it was bad.
It was like 7 back and forth.
We kind of nailed that one though.
Yeah, that was a good one. Well, you did this.
That was
really hard to do.
We came in for the real deal. So
for sure. All right, guys. Peace.
It was all a dream, and if you don't know